No. Same two, same one. At the end of two. Of course. Yes. Or do you dare do "'Tis the gift to be simple"? Because I didn't know.
Can we do that?
"'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
So not the second verse, only the first, where we're all together. Okay. The first verse of "Come and See."
People who make music together cannot be enemies, cannot be enemies, at least while the music lasts. We are friends forever when we sing together. The whole world is better when we sing. So let's sing forever, hold our hands together, make the whole world better, come and sing. People who make music together cannot be enemies, cannot be enemies, at least while the music lasts. We are friends forever when we sing together. The whole world is better when we sing. So let's sing forever, hold our hands together, make the whole world better, come and sing.
Sorry about that. And then do lift every voice one more time.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. Governors and distinguished guests, please rise for the presentation of the colors, followed by our national anthem. Presenting the colors today is DC National Guard Honor Guard. Performing the national anthem is the Strathmore Children's Chorus from North Bethesda, Maryland, led by Artistic Director Michael Wu. Please remain standing until the color guard exits the hall.
Present on.
Oh, sing and see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched first so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glares were singing, then it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order on. Forward march.
Everybody please be seated, but how about a big round of applause for the incredible choir from Maryland? Strathmore Choir from Bethesda, Maryland, and the Color Guard from the DC National Guard. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I want to officially welcome all of you to the National Governors Association winter meeting. It really is an honor to have been chosen by my colleagues to serve as the chairman of the NGA, and it's great to be able to welcome so many of my colleagues. We've got 44 governors from all across America to our nation's capital for this important summit. We've got a great conference planned for you, and I want to thank all of our panelists, the experts, the sponsors, and all of you, all of our guests, for your participation. We've got a great conference planned for you. And back in July in Salt Lake City, I launched our initiative, which is focused on rebuilding America's infrastructure. And in August, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker hosted us in Boston, where we were joined by Governor Chris Sununu and Governor Gina Raimondo to discuss innovative ways to reduce traffic congestion. In September, we completed a fact-finding mission in Australia, where we met with 3 of Australia's premiers and Prime Minister Scott Morrison, along with leaders of the top infrastructure and investment companies in Australia. In October, we were hosted by Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, where we talked about protecting America's critical infrastructure. A few weeks ago, Governor Gavin Newsom hosted us in San Francisco, where we were joined by Governor Bill Lee and Governor Steve Bullock, who led a discussion on eliminating red tape and about smart technologies. We'll be in Toronto in April with many of the premiers to talk about some of the things Canada is doing on infrastructure. We're very pleased to have 5 of those premiers here with us today, and you'll be hearing a great panel that they'll be participating in just a little while. Governor Doug Ducey will host a summit in Phoenix in May, where we'll be discussing financing the future and leveraging private sector investments, and then we'll be wrapping up our initiative at the NGA summer meeting in August, where we'll be hosted by Governor Janet Mills in Portland, Maine. And we're very excited to have all of you here with us in Washington today to discuss some of the most pressing issues facing our states and to strengthen our relationship, between the states and the federal government. The NGA is not just about representing America's governors, but it's also about what America's governors represent. In states all across the country, governors are working together in a bipartisan way, showing real leadership, making progress, and finding solutions to the serious problems that are facing us. Our nation's governors on both sides of the aisle are finding ways to innovate, to reform, and to drive the debate. And my goal with our infrastructure initiative is to harness that strength and to come up with all the best ideas and solutions in order to tackle an issue that is so fundamental to our economy, to our environment, and to our way of life. In states throughout the nation, my fellow governors are upgrading roads and bridges and mass transit systems. They're improving airports and ports and fixing aging water systems and making real progress. The goal of our initiative is not only to highlight the great work that the governors are doing in their states, but also to bring together thought leaders from government, business, nonprofits, and academia to come up with the best new ideas and innovative solutions in order to help the nation's governors solve the infrastructure crisis in America, and also to help drive action from our leaders here in Washington. As part of my initiative, I'm working with all 54 governors on a national compact to streamline project delivery and invest in resiliency in our states. We will spend the next few months working to earn your support to present a non-binding contract that will be finalized at the summer meeting in Portland, Maine. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you on that. But right now, we're going to get started with our first plenary, which is titled Domestic and International Innovations for Modernizing America's Infrastructure.